Welcome, Alison.
Thank
So,
you.
what inspired you to put your name forward as a candidate in this election?
I've always done community advocacy work since my kids have started back into school years ago. And this just felt like a natural progression given some of the situations and decision making coming out of council in the last year. I guess the rec facility closures was a big concern of mine. And then in January, when the city announced that they were looking at the sale of the electric utilities, and then I spearheaded that campaign and petition to stop that from happening, was kind of the tipping point for me making the decision to run for council.
So, what experience is going to assist you in being an effective elected representative?
Well, I've worked in local non-for-profit and advocacy since 2011 with Community Food Connections Association for the last 8 years, and before that, Public Interest Alberta. And then also I've served on a variety of local boards, so school councils and fundraising societies, French language learning, some provincial boards as well, one around food security, and probably the most that I'm known for is with Palliser Friends of Medicare, that I've been on that board for over 10 years.
Excellent. So with that experience, what do you believe are the most important issues that are affecting our region?
Well, I think coming out of COVID, trying to determine a new normal, and it's hard to imagine what that's going to look like right now, as we're in the fourth wave and we're, I think, all just trying to get through. It's a really difficult time. And so how our business is going to survive and thrive in the future after having to pivot so many times and so many changes and regulations, and now again facing that, what's happening right now. People whose jobs have been impacted, people who've lost family members to COVID, and long-term debilitating illness that's going to come out of this as well. We're going to have to kind of reimagine our city's future in this kind of post-pandemic world, I think.
And how do you believe that your election platform is going to benefit and improve the lives of our constituents?
Well, I think that we need to have some more diversity and representation on city council making decision for a community. Equity is a really strong decision-making factor in my life, personally and professionally. And I'd like to make sure that everyone is having a voice in our community around decision-making. And I want to see our quality of life for our residents be really good. And I also think that if we can make our city look really desirable, it will attract more people to move back to Medicine Hat if they've moved away, or to consider Medicine Hat as a place to live. We're really fortunate here. We have, lower utilities. We have lower housing costs, lower property taxes, and a beautiful, beautiful city with a lot of amenities. And so if we can encourage people to come here, either to start new businesses or to bring their work from home professional lives with them, because that's part of the new reality too, right? A lot of us now are working from home. We didn't before, and some positions are probably never going to go back into offices. And so people have a lot more freedom in choosing where they want to live.
So what strategies and specific policies would you suggest that address the pillars in the Chamber's Vote Prosperity platform? So those include innovation and a competitive strategy, infrastructure development, image and branding, workforce development, and of course, business and financial supports.
I'll kind of go through them, I guess, a little bit at a time then. So I think we already are a fairly competitive market. I do think we have to be appealing to a broader group than we currently do. We've had a pretty stagnant population, like not a lot of growth for a long time. And in that same time, we've seen other communities grow rapidly. So I think we need to always be looking for something that gives us an edge and using the assets we already have in our community, because we have a lot of them. Infrastructure development, I think that's a key part too, because if we don't have a community of choice, a quality community that people want to come to or develop their businesses in, we're not going to attract. people here or keep people here because they're going to decide they want to move on to other locations with more options for them. I think we're actually doing a pretty good job, to be honest. I mean, I'm a big fan of Medicine Hat. It's hard for me I don't want to sound negative about it because I think it's amazing to live here. And we chose as a family to live here. And I'm always encouraging people to move here as well. And part of that, I think, onto the image and branding. So Tourism Medicine Hat does an amazing job. And we also have a really good business development arm of the city in Invest Medicine Hat. The thing I was really happy to see was the new Move to Medicine Hat launch, because I think that was addressing a gap where it's don't just come visit or come and start a business, but also just move your family here and explore all that this community has to offer. So I was really pleased to see that and the collaboration that happened with that, the various organizations in the city working towards that. And I think, yes, also workforce development. So we're seeing changes in industries that have traditionally been big employers in our area. And I think having an ongoing relationship with Medicine Hat College to make sure that programming, especially in the trades, are meeting the needs of what the industry is looking for right now. And I would like to see, this is a personal thing because I grew up in agriculture, my family farm, more focus on agricultural development in our community.
Excellent. Now, I know that was a heavy question, so I'll give you the opportunity. Any final closing comments, insights, or perspectives, or any other points that you wanted to touch on from the previous question?
Well, I guess underpinning my entire campaign is the idea of making Medicine Hat a community of choice, which in my mind it already is, but just enhancing that and letting people know about that more so that we can increase our population. That will bring us more people wanting to start businesses and shop at businesses. It also increases our tax base so we can have more services for community members and residents as well. And it would be nice to see some of the growth that's happening in other communities happening here when those of us who live here know we have so much to offer. So I'm really hoping that people will understand where I'm coming from in saying that if we provide good services from the city standpoint, it will attract other good things to our community.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today, Alison.
Thank you.